So I'm trying to get the video to work, but it doesn't seem to be working at this point. So I'm not 100% sure what's happening at this point. It says it's live, but there's no video being transmitted. This is all very new to me. It's quite different to uploading video. I'm not even sure this is working. I think I'll log out and log back in. Well, I'm not even sure if this is working. I don't see the video stream. Ah, there we go. I think that's working. It's Can you guys hear the audio from this? You keep failing your driving test. Is it on the same things or is it on different things each time? That's where all the eyes should be at this time of night on a Saturday. Just getting ready for the evening. I'm just kind of testing this stuff out. I've never used this before. Treat myself to a new webcam today. I'm just trying it out. Who knows? Who knows how it'll work? But I thought it might be an interesting thing to do to run like a Q&A session, if you like, just to help people with. And I try and answer the questions that get asked in the videos, but I don't always get time to look at those. That's good. So when do you turn 17 then? It's quite difficult. The control panel in this isn't so easy to use, because the video window that's up here, there's a bit of a delay too, I can see, but then I can't see the chat at the same time. There must be a way of doing that a little differently. Can I lift that up there? Oh, there we go. So 17 in January. Driving lessons for Christmas that is for you then, isn't it? Okay, Ash, standards check. What would you like to know? I'm going to upload some video to help with that. So treating the standards check as a usual lesson, that depends. Now the advice that's out there says just do what you've always done, and that works if you were already involving the learner at a fairly high level. So if you were scoring a 5 or a 6, that would generally indicate that you were doing the right sort of things. And I see you're saying recap objective main points. If you're recapping, that's not very client-centered. What we need to do is to be getting the learner to be, we engage them in a conversation about perhaps how was your last session. In light of that session, what do you think it would be a logical thing to do today? And how would we structure that? How will we measure success? What level of help do you want from me? And also, whilst we're talking about what do you want to do on today's session and what's different, does that constitute more risk? Is there other things that we need to take account of? Say, perhaps more traffic, more pedestrians, perhaps whatever it is that we're undertaking is a little bit more difficult. And then by having a chat about, well, how are we going to take account of that? That will really then give you a client-centered approach to the start of the thing. You've also then got to chat about, well, how are we going to structure the session, which helps you to do a session that's geared to them. Okay, Ash, so you can make them do what you want. That's not terribly client-centered, is it? So it's really about getting them to be invested in the session, really, to be involved, to as much as is possible, to not be in a passive role, and if you can, to take ownership of the session. What do you want to do? How do you want to do it? Our job is to create the right environment for learning to take place. If we create a safe environment and we make sure that we're taking small, easily manageable steps, then we're not going to get into trouble. Okay, so swinging it around after to what you want to work on. It's not really client-centered, and I'm fairly sure that an experienced standards check examiner will be able to sniff that out. I'm just trying to make sure that I'm catching all the questions here. I'm going to do a little presentation, perhaps with a PowerPoint with an overlay, so I can go through the main points and just give some basic handy hints and tips. So I'm seeing there that that's It's Kush Brew. I'm not sure how you pronounce that. You think you're never going to pass your theory test? Have you had lots of attempts at it? I think there's quite a delay on the audio. I'll type it as well. So how long have you been an ADI, Ash? Have you recently qualified, been qualified a fair while, or the answer to that might help me to be able to better advise you. possibly. Hi Ayub, quick wave, big delay on the webcam, so you might see me wave in about 5 or 6 seconds. Okay, 6 to 7 years, so plenty of experience now, and you'll have had at least one standards check, or it'll have been a check test then, I would imagine. I'm not sure I like the phone apps. I mean, they're okay, there are some good ones, but they tend not to be as comprehensive. Obviously the DVSA software is pretty good. If you send me your email address, no, I wouldn't type it in here because I'm not sure how that works. But if you send me your email address to info@tuitionwithbob, I'll hook you up to a free software portal, which will give you everything you need. Risk assessment, Ash, that's what our job is. Everybody's talking about this being a brand new thing. It isn't. Our job as an ADI, and the very reason that the register was created, is to make sure that the instruction that's given is safe. Because back in the day, 1960, whatever it was decided that the driving instruction that was being given in the UK wasn't very good. It was resulting in a lot of accidents. And back in the day then, about 8,500 people died every year. We're down to about 1,700 now, which is still not good, but it's a lot better. So what they did was they based the register on safety. So risk management is all about you helping the learner to learn whilst you manage the risk, and then gradually handing that risk across to the learner at a time when they're ready to take responsibility for it. So that's what the risk's all about, but it's what our job's always been about. So it's really about creating the right environment for learning to take place, making sure that we're taking the right size steps. And that's always been the case, really. I hope that makes sense. Whereabouts do you live, Ash? Are you close to me? I'm in West Yorkshire. Cheers, Ayub. You come for a picture and an autograph, oh my word. How do you know I can write? That's such a nice thing to say, thank you. I'm just a jobbing driving instructor. It's how the job should be done anyway, really. I hear so many stories about people being shouted at by the driving instructors, and it's not nice, really, is it? You're paying a lot of money. Okay, Ash, Manchester, you're about an hour from me. If you feel you need some help, I'll gladly help out. We can maybe have a chat about seeing how we can get together for that. But I am going to do some presentations that'll help, if you like, to help you understand what it's about, what it is that they're looking for. Giving you a basic sort of overview and an idea about how it works. That should then help you to look at what it is that you're doing, and work out how to take what you already know and apply that in a way that's going to be perhaps a little bit more client-centered. There's an awful lot of it you might be doing anyway. Good instructors have always coached, if you like, but it's about putting the learner at the heart of everything. So maybe I'll get some pictures and do some autographed ones and send them out. I'm only kidding. That'd be very sad. have some autographed merchandise. You're absolutely right, Ash. I mean, shouting at learners is an appalling thing to do. It just shows really that you've run out of words, you've run out of ideas, and you have to shout. And it can be quite frustrating sometimes when you're trying to help a learner and you're not getting the way you want to be. That can be massively frustrating. But they're paying you good money to be taught. They don't want to be. They can get shouted at for free. They can just ask their dad or their mum or their boyfriend, their girlfriend, their wife, their husband. They can get shouted at for nothing for that. You don't have to pay £25 to £35 an hour for it. Oops, I closed the window there. Lost track of where I was. Now the video is not showing up properly at my end. Is it showing up okay for everybody else? Do you catch the video, or is it just the audio? Oops. Charge for photographs? Oh my word! No, I don't have any photographs. But no, I would never, I'd never do that. Hi Lee, just signing in. I'm giving you a wave, but that's probably going to be 8 seconds after I've done it. So I don't have photographs. So suppose if I did, you could use it to keep the children away from the fireplace, scare them away. Do I get rude clients? I don't, Ash. No, I get. Well, that's perhaps not true. I get people who have. I'm not even going to say rude tendencies, but if you treat people with respect, you tend to get respect back. I've never had anybody be rude. I've had people who have got frustrated and annoyed and that kind of stuff, but never anybody who's been rude to me. Oh, yes, I'm not really sure what's happening with that video there. I'll let me reload it and see what happens. Audio. So this is all, you'll have to forgive me because this is all brand new to me. Oh, there we go. Oh wow, I worked it out. Who'd have thought? There's about an 8 or 9 second delay, so that's, there we go. So you should be able to see it now. Yeah, but where were we chatting about? Yeah, rude clients. I think people tend to be rude when they feel that they're not getting what they're paying for, or I'll tell you the classic one. It's when a learner doesn't turn up for a session, and we don't say anything. Then they don't turn up for another one. We don't say anything. On the third time they don't turn up, we then start saying, "Well, I'm going to charge you for this." Then they get annoyed. But if we tell them from the start, it's a bit like being at the dentist. That, you know, it's my livelihood, and if you don't turn up, then I'm short of, you know, my livelihood for that day. So I'm afraid if you don't turn up, you'll be charged. It's not quite the same, you know, when they don't turn up then for the first time. And this is always the tip that I give to them. I do all the business training for the new instructors at LDC, and I always tell them, if somebody doesn't turn up, just say, look, I could charge you, but this time I won't, because, you know, I'll give you the benefit of the doubt. But if it happens again, then I will have to charge you for this one and for the next one. So you're playing fair then, and I think they tend not to get as annoyed. They're still going to be a little bit knocked that they've had to pay for a lesson they haven't had, but we need to help them to understand that it's your livelihood, I think. Does that answer your question? It's just strange. I'm on YouTube here, and it's YouTube sending me messages. So I'll just answer that one. Any other questions I can help anybody with? It's all very interesting, isn't it? It's something we might do a little bit more of. All right, it says to me, YouTube is not receiving enough video to maintain smooth streaming. As such, viewers will experience buffering. Sorry about that, chaps. I need to sort that out. I'm not sure how to just yet. I really could do with this chat being a little higher there. The window that controls it is not user friendly. I'm sure there's a way of doing it, but I'll have to have a little play around with that. Yeah, I hear what you're saying, Ash. That 50 to 60 hours a week is it'll burn you out. The last few lessons of the day are not really getting your best, are they? That's the problem. And you know, it's nice to have that level of money when you're working that many hours, but you haven't really got time to spend it, so it's kind of counterproductive. There's no point in having plenty of money in your pocket if you've got nowhere to go to spend it. It's all about finding a work-life balance, isn't it? And making sure you're doing the right level of hours so that your customers are getting good quality. You just need to test how much of a delay there is. So I'll click my fingers and then count, see how long it takes on the video. So 2, 8 seconds. Hi, Wallflower. So if your instructor's yelling at you, that's not good, is it? We've just been chatting about that. You're paying a lot of money. You don't need shouting at. What I can promise you is that I've 28 years as a driving instructor. I've never raised my voice. I've never really as much as raised an eyebrow. The reality is, if I'm having to raise my voice, that's my fault. I've run out of things to say or things to do. I've run out of ideas. If you have an instructor who's shouting at you, do you think you could perhaps chat to him or her and just say, look, you know, I'd really rather not do that. But the reality is, you shouldn't be suffering that kind of thing. It's not right. And I would normally advise it's perhaps time to think about a change of instructor. Yeah, hi Ash. Yeah, unhygienic clients. I've had that too in my time. We have to have a chat with them, unfortunately, because the next person who gets in the car thinks it's the instructor who's made the smell. It's not nice, but I've generally found that if I'm matter of fact and to the point, just look, you seem to have a problem with body odor, could you sort it out before next time? That normally does it. However, sometimes you never see them again, but really, if they're creating that kind of smell in the car, do you want to see them again? I'm not sure you do, really. But back to the fear of driving. That's awful. How many lessons did you have, Wallflower? Or are you still having lessons? I have to wait, of course, because there's a long delay. I think I need to see if I can do something with the video stream. It's oh, okay. It's let me have a look in my my email account. See if I've got that from you. There we go. No, don't find an email as yet. I'll give it a few minutes and see if it comes through. I can't find the window I was in. So it hasn't arrived just yet. Can't do this multitasking malarkey. I've been trying to experiment with Facebook Live, but I've been messing around with it for most of the afternoon and not really got to grips with it yet. Hi, Flora. So have you tried, again, an answer to Ash's question, have you tried Google Maps? It can be really handy for finding these little places that are hidden away. I mean, it doesn't give you a really proper idea of where you need to go, but it can give you a bit of an idea where some of the quieter areas might be. You just want somewhere where you can, get up and down the gears and stuff. So we're always compromising, and city centre instructors find it harder, clearly, because you've got so much stuff around you. We just so just chilling. Oh, thanks for that, Matt. That's so kind of you to say. It's I'm passionate about what I do, and I've always the old boy who taught me to be an instructor 1,000 years ago. Always said that if you lose your passion for the job, something's not right. You're either working too many hours or you've got something wrong somewhere. Hi, Isaiah. On the stand behind me, that's an Arbon Tudor. It hasn't. No email arrived as. Oh, hang on a second. Got you. So, oops, email. Let me sign you up for that. You have to forgive me doing this while I'm doing something else. Email address. I'm good at multitasking. That's everything I want. Pure. Emails arrived and login details sent. Everything you need will be in there. So yes, the stand behind me is this. It's for practicing. All very technical. All very boring. As a here, people who don't use their mirrors. Well, you can teach somebody to use their mirrors all you want, but until they feel the need to check that mirror, they're not going to do it. So what I would normally do is, rather than say to them, check your mirrors, check your mirrors, check your mirrors, I would start asking questions like, how hard could you brake right now? And that question should hopefully trigger a thought process which makes them think, oh, hang on, what do I need to know before I do that? And I tend to find that works better than in giving instruction. If we try and help people come to their own conclusions, if you like, if we help people to learn to be good decision makers, they become better drivers. It also means that that they're getting it done in a way that they only ever need to do it once. So, cheers, Matt. Yeah, I know I don't need to write the reply. It occurred to me as I was doing it. You'll just have to forgive a confused old man. Okay, Ash, dealing with rude drivers. It's just a good driver on a bad day. If you think of it any other way, you'll get annoyed. And it doesn't help. It's never going to help you to be a better instructor by being annoyed with other people. So you've just got to just smile and wave. Hi Barry, so you just started your instructor training. So you started. Are you training with LDC? Or are you training elsewhere? So you're up to stage 1, module 3. Okay. I think if you can get a session in early with your tutor and just get a look at your driving, one of the key things I think that'll help you massively when it comes to the part 3 at the end is being able to talk through what you're doing. Because once we've given the lesson to the examiner on the test, we then have to talk him through it again. So even though you've told him what to do, it's almost as though you haven't. You've got to go through and talk through. So get yourself used to talking yourself through what it is that you're doing. That will also be a brief. And we obsess a little bit about briefs, and it's not helpful. We seem to think, or we get the idea in our head that as long as we just deliver a brilliant brief, the examiner will do everything right. Well, I promise you we won't. Are you signed up for the part 3 workshops, Barry? If you haven't, do so. That 2 days will give you pretty much everything you need to know. I'm also going to do a lot of stuff streaming live and question and answer sessions for that kind of stuff. Yeah, James, I'd be happy to do a part 3 workshop on live chat. It's a big subject to cover, so what I'll probably do is do a couple of little presentations that go over the basics of it. A part 3 workshop at LDC headquarters is 2 days. Now I can talk for 2 days, but I'm sure you'd all get fed up with it. But I'll happily, answer questions on stuff. Well, I'll set it up for some point in the future where I'll do a little a presentation first, and then maybe a Q&A session afterwards, possibly. A little tricky because there is this long delay. Cool. Well, it really doesn't matter which package you're on, Barry. The workshop is an extra. It's not part of the training course, but those who've done it find it very, very useful. Hi Matt. So most pupils love a demo. Okay. Would you do that on the check test or standard check? Yes, as long as it's the thing that the learner wants. And if you just get them into the passenger seat and just say, okay, sit down, shut up and listen, to work as well, and watch what I'm doing here. So you just say to the learner, how would you like to go about this today? Do you want me to explain what to do to you? Do you want to just have a go without any help from me? Or do you want me to demonstrate? I could demonstrate and talk through. Which of those would suit you best? Then you're truly being client-centered, and you're working in a way that you know works for the learner. we discuss a lot in our industry about pupils with learning difficulties or with special needs. In my head, there's no such thing as special needs. There's just needs, and we have to identify what the pupil needs from us, rather than what we're going to give them. How can I best help you? And I think if we're thinking in terms of how can I best serve the person I'm trying to help, then we're really sort of working in a way that really works for them. Hi Barry, no, I only do them in Yorkshire at head office. There's too much country to cover. Having said that, if there was enough people there, then it would potentially be possible. But the workshops are offered for free, so we couldn't also do the hotel room hire and pay for my travel and all the other bits and pieces that go with it. It's not to say that it won't happen in the future, but at this point in time, they're still fairly new. Hope that answers your question. Again, I have a strange sort of thing that the chat window is down at the bottom and the video window is at the top. Not that I want to watch myself, I'm not narcissistic, you understand. Hi George, I teach learner drivers occasionally, but it's normally when we're developing new product or new ideas. So currently we're looking at a couple of new learners. Nikki will be coming back fairly soon. She's moved house, had a baby, got married, not in that order. The moved house, got married, then had the baby. So life's been a bit hectic for Nikki, so she'll be coming back soon. Brilliant driver, just our head messes up when it's test time. And we've got our eyes on a couple of new learners that might be interesting. And I'm taking a couple of ADIs from, one of them's already done most of the part 2 and some of the part 3, so I'm finishing that off with them. That's Nicola. You'll have seen one video on the YouTube channel from it. And I'm looking for somebody to do from scratch, and probably in a more intensive way, applying client-centered methodologies to teaching them, but not teaching them how to use client-centered stuff, because it won't work on the part 3 exam. Hi Daniel. Oh God, I'm so pleased that I helped you pass your driving exam. Excellent. You are most welcome. I'm pleased to be of assistance. Yeah. I quite like this actually, because it's sometimes I don't think people believe that I'm nice when I'm typing responses and saying thank you. I think they think that I've really got a dark side somewhere, and I'm some kind of raging beast. Hopefully this little chat shows you that I'm not. Hi Barry, yes, Darren did pass his part 3, thankfully. He just picked up a brand new car, not yesterday, the day before. So things are going from strength to strength for Darren. Bit of a life-changing issue. Darren had he's had some troubled times, and becoming an instructor has got him through all of that sort of stuff. So it's been that sounds like X Factor, doesn't it? It's been a real journey. But it has. Intensive training course or lesson by lesson. Well, intensive training courses can work, but they need to be done by somebody who knows what they're doing with those things, because it's a very different way of training. What I would say to you at the minute is, because the waiting time for tests is ridiculously long at the minute, in Pontefract you can't get a test until March next year. So you would be booking a test for then and then doing your training a week before. There's no point, just start now, you'll get the same test. So intensive training courses at the minute are not really hurrying you through, because you can't get tests. So it's probably as well just to book a test and then get some training. I mean, liaise with the driving instructor first, I would. Don't just turn up and say, yeah, I've got this test, teach me. That might not go down so well. But it depends. I mean, how do you normally learn things? If you've learned other things in an intensive way and that's worked really well for you, then doing it with learning to drive might work really quite well. I would never recommend an intensive course over a week for a beginner. If you've already got clutch control, then you're probably all right. But it's an awful lot of things to do in a week, and if you're still fighting with clutch control at the end of day 2, it's going to cause you some problems, I would have said. That's my opinion. Everybody's different. I think the key thing is finding an instructor that's a fit for you. You know, there's good instructors, some not so good, but the key thing is finding somebody that you just mesh with and you can work with, that meets your needs, that you develop a relationship with, a professional relationship with, that's meaningful and that helps you to get to where you want to be in a fulfilling way. That's sometimes a difficult thing to find, but part of the problem is we don't really do the research. Yeah, we check out pass rates, we check out the testimonials on their website, but I think one of the key things is to make sure that you're going to get on. So perhaps book an assessment lesson with an instructor, so you both suss each other out. Why is there such a long wait for tests? They're 309 examiners short. That's why. And they're losing examiners at a very healthy rate. Basically because they're not treating examiners very well. They're trying to change their working conditions and trying to get them to do extra things without really paying them for it. So they're not happy bunnies, and an awful lot of them are leaving the industry, which is sad. So yes, there's 309 instructors short, examiners short nationwide. That's why there's such huge waiting lists. Yes, I'm pleased it helped you watching Darren go through. He's a good lad. And of course, he works locally, to be honest. He lives just down the road from me, just a few hundred yards away. So it was nice to be able to help him. And it was good. I mean, we started with the client-centered approach because we were led to believe that you could use that on the Part 3 exam. And of course, you can't. And what it then meant was that Darren had to unlearn that and then relearn the sort of the core comps way of teaching, which was tough for him. And wow, it's been on 43 minutes. Doesn't time fly when you're having fun? I think I'm going to go and make myself a cup of tea. And I think I'll come back and open up another stream. And I'll see you all then. Huh?
How do you turn my haters down there? I can't figure it out.
Well, aren't you shit?
Yep. Pretty much.
does on a regular basis. Oh, still live. Sorry, I thought I'd stopped the broadcast. Oh, still live. Sorry, I thought I'd stopped the broadcast. Oh, I'm not even sure what I'm doing. Still live. Sorry, I thought I'd stopped the broadcast.
Thanks, Molly.
I'm not even sure. I'm not even sure what I'm doing. 2 seconds.
No,
I
that's
thought I'd stopped the
not
broadcast. Can you what? Sorry.
Can I use some honey from downstairs?
Yeah, careful though. I don't want to get through too much of it.
I can go and get some.
No, that's fine. No, that's fine. Just
Just gonna put it in the stuff.
this is broadcasting live, and I'm not sure how to stop it.
Do you care if I practice for a bit?
Hang on a second.